Ex-wife's had an affair with a teenage neighbor, but it went into Abuuse and my family wants me to forgive him. My 34M, ex, 33F, admittedly had a ton of red flags when we started dating. She was my serious first relationship and I wasn't always very confident or outgoing compared to her, and I'll always be kicking myself for practically dancing into the arms or a narcissist. We got married way too young at 24 and 23, and the next several years were spent with her demanding my entire life change at her whims, mood swings, gaslighting when she seemed to be carrying on emotional affairs, isolating me, arguments out of nowhere, nights sleeping on the couch, financial abuse. Her family is very well off, and they foot the bill for the wedding at our house, demeaning comments and general emotional abuse. One other thing was she was always more sexually adventurous and always wanted to try newer and weirder things. I'm a little open-minded but sometimes had to set firm boundaries with her or shut her down when it got too uncomfortable. This is important for later. Back then I thought by just dealing with it I was being strong and protecting our marriage. If I could go back in time I would kick my younger self's ass. 2 years back things came to a head. It came out she had been carrying on a full-fledged affair with our neighbor's son who had only been 18 for around 6 months. We knew this kid since he was 16. At that point she was freshly 31. I finally pulled my head out my ass but by that point it was too late. The coming months absolutely fucking sucked. Got kicked out, her parents left the house to soleil her. I never had any impression I was going to have any claim to it so I saw that coming at least. Lawyer costs financially drained me, and moved in with my parents for the time being while my ex, her AP, her family and her AP's family harassed me on the daily for months. My ex tried every dirty trick in the book on her parents' dime with a divorce, somehow, by the grace of God and my lawyer I made it out relatively fine. She sent grueling insults with every insult you could think of from a cheating narcissist. Her AP painted me as a crippled old man and had his friends send insulting messages, videos of him and my ex, and whatever they could think of on the daily and only stopped when I got law enforcement involved. My ex's family never liked me, and gladly jumped at the opportunity to mock me, and the AP's family, who obviously saw dollar signs regardless of the greater context, had no problems joining in to score points. This brings me to around 3 weeks ago. By then 2 years had gone by, with me back on my feet, a year of therapy under my belt, a new job, a new sense of confidence, and recently a new girlfriend. Bit of info, I never left the area, my family only lived a couple of hours away from where my ex and I lived. My job is going too well to risk getting up and leaving for parts unknown. Because I was in the same area, I got little tidbits of info regardless if I wanted to hear or not. I know the AP's family moved away, he moved in with her, and the world slowly saw less and less of him. To sum it up, I got called by his family to see him in the hospital. I don't know all the details, but basically, roughly over a month ago my ex's AP went dark. Over a 5-month period, they slowly heard less and less of him, but a month back they lost contact. Why it took them this long to raise hell is beyond me, but I imagine a family that would allow their son to be groomed for money isn't great at ensuring their son is okay. Police stopped by her house for a wellness check, only for him to answer the door looking like The Walking Dead. The police found him, from what they describe, practically in hell. He had been routinely beaten and sexually abused nonstop for God knows how long. The whole investigation has opened a black hole of craziness. I've asked around for more info and got little tidbits but not much. It was found that multiple people were involved and allegedly there are videos of what they were doing to him. They found evidence of God knows how many drugs and substances were being pumped into him. My ex and whoever else was involved are facing longer and longer sentences. The more they find out his family wants me to visit him as he wants to make amends. He wants to apologize, he's broken, he's scarred for life, he's suicidal, whatever reason they can spew out to bring me to him they've said it. But why should I be dragged into this shit? His own family allowed practically sold him. My ex's family seem to actually have had no knowledge of this and are practically scraping their hands clean and throwing her to the wolves, but I have to step back into this? I get he was groomed, I get he was influenced, and I understand some truly awful stuff happened to him, but why should I come back all this and let the people who hurt me know all is forgiven? Update 1. I can share a couple theories from people I have heard about what is happening. These are all bits of info passed down by mutuals of mutuals, and have been going through a game of telephone for weeks, so please assume these are either wildly exaggerated or outright BS. AP's family and ex-in-law's family are all prepping to stab each other in the back as each seem to be holding on to dirt to use against the other, possibly knowledge of the affair going on before 18X in retaliation for being abandoned has knowledge of, and I quote directly from the messenger, tax stuff regarding her parents. It isn't some big thing that would be federal, probably just some money out of their pockets down the line. Her family aren't powerful. Just well off. There is no big trafficking ring or larger scale operation going on. It was just 4 or 5 freaks who found each other online that she gathered. This seems more plausible. AP's father is bordering on having to be placed under suicide watch. AP's mother apparently had reservations from the beginning, pretty much got bought off, and is now livid and considering divorce. AP is trying to get his friends for support and they are bailing. Some of these guys were part of the original harassment campaign way back and have apparently realized the error of their ways and don't want to step back. And one of his abusers from the group got a knock at the door by the police at home with his wife and kids and killed himself on the spot. Update 2. So as I always knew was a possibility, sending a letter from my lawyer to the AP's parents wasn't the bulletproof shield I was hoping it would be. Desperate people aren't swayed by mere legal matters. Within 2 days things started spiraling out of control, and very quickly they called me directly again. Make no mistake, I saw the writing on the wall. Somehow I'll be getting dragged into this no matter what. My parents and girlfriend were as supporting as they could be. But at some point I said screw it and arranged to talk with the AP's dad. I know, I'm an idiot and a fool, but I need to actually know what's going on. To condense what was discussed without spilling any info in regards to the investigation, everyone was turning against each other and are for blood, and secrets were finally spilling. The AP's dad, he opened the floodgates. As I knew, everyone was basically aware that my ex groomed him, most likely starting at 16. If there was any physical proof such as messages, they're long gone. This kid was basically a bad seed, history of trouble without a clear direction in his future. His dad is a confusing person. He is the kind of dad that wanted to be rid of his problem child, but also was proud in a way of his son getting involved with the hot older woman with a well-off family. He basically spilled the beans that he supported the relationship as it gave him the benefit of getting his son out of his house, and gladly took whatever my ex's family offered as a token of appreciation. He was a lousy father, plain and simple. As time went by, he appeared to realize the situation he out his son in, and it only got worse with the AP's mom. She was a stay-at-home mother who always was the silent submissive partner in the marriage. As it turns out, she raised hell from the beginning, but at the behest of her husband. I'm suspecting this marriage is way more abusive than he let on. He got her to drop it. He controlled her and her life practically. She never was happy and always tried to get her son help and get him away from my ex. After what has happened the last few weeks, she has had it. She is divorcing him, letting his family know what happened, and plans on cleaning him out in the divorce. The silent submissive wife was driven too far. From what I saw of the dad, it's hit him hard how his years of bad choices have ruined his family. He is a hollow shell of a man. My ex and her family, they're tearing each other apart. My ex has lost her job, reputation, her circle of freaks, and her money. Her parents, their family humiliated, their involvement taking over local gossip, and desperate to salvage the fallout they'll endure when more people find out, are in the midst of a separation and a brutal divorce is on the horizon. However, the possibility of an investigation is at risk due to the AP. My jaw hit the fucking floor when I heard about him. He is backpedaling hard. Over the last 2 weeks he has been retracting every claim, every accusation, every bit of evidence that could put these sick freaks in prison. I shit you not, and I wish I had the capacity to make this up, he has gotten the people who are on video sexually abusing him to verify with him that they were taking part in recording fetish porn. My brain simply cannot comprehend this. It just won't allow me. Now I'm not stupid, he is clearly psychologically broken. He was alone with them for months. He needs a psychiatrist immediately. The reason they are so desperate for me to be involved is because it's the last desperate flails of a collapsing group of narcissists and parental failures desperately trying to talk to him, and they want me involved as they need people with history with my ex to try and actually make a case, since their son is doing everything he can to not make one happen. As of now, any case against my ex is in limbo. It's just so sad. This situation is so stupid all around because it was so avoidable. All the dad had to do was be a proper guiding father to his son, help him become a proper adult. All his mom had to do was not be a pushover. All my ex's parents had to do was not support an illegal relationship just to spite me. All my ex had to do was not be an awful human being. Now a kid is possibly deeply mentally broken permanently, all because the guiding figures in his life didn't care.